We
You gotta,
are,
there we go. Unmute on the space.
yep. Looks like we're live.
Oh, I still gotta put earbuds in anyway, though. Otherwise, they're gonna get echo. Yes, live. A bit late, but we are here.
We have
And
made it.
hopefully
Oh man.
the technical difficulties are worked out.
Yep. We shall see.
All righty then. What do we got? Wow, it's already 22. All right.
Yeah.
We will plow away for a good 40 minutes. We got people piling in now, 19 in the space. Pretty good considering how late we are. We're on Cal's not from New York, but he's on New York time. So like if the party's at noon, that means you show up at 1. That's how we do
Yeah.
it. That's how we did it in New York. I'm sure people do it that way a lot of other places as well.
Yeah, I do that pretty much everywhere.
That sounds about right.
Um, it's always too much to do, never enough time.
100%. Today actually has been a whirlwind. I had a bunch of things on the agenda and then some real estate stuff popped up. The next thing I know, I'm analyzing real estate deals, deciding if I want to try and scoop up a flip project.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess it would be, but they're always more work than the people want to tell you. Once you go in and look at it, you're like, this is a full cut. What are you talking about? Got to sell it lower. Everyone wants too much money for their properties. All right, I gotta get to the threadcast.
Yeah, I'm just we had a little 1 week sabbatical. So now I gotta reset all of the things.
Don't blame it on
All
me.
right. How was
I
your
can't.
how was the trip?
It was good. I can't promise that there's not going to be more sabbaticals in the future. Cat's schedule is getting heavy.
It happens, it happens.
Um,
It's good to
trip was good.
travel.
Trip was good. Got to see a bunch of friends, got to do a little gambling. Luckily, didn't do much drinking at all, so no horrible hangovers like last time. I didn't have
Funny. That's funny.
yeah, luckily there was no one there for me to drink double vodkas with all night.
It
Actually, that's a lie. My one friend that
happens,
was yeah, my one friend that was out there, this guy, he drinks when I say he drinks vodka all day, like he drinks vodka all day.
Yeah.
But he's like married and stuff, and he likes to like just gamble and stuff. So he doesn't like party drink, he just drinks.
Yeah, I try to keep it few and far between when I do it, but when I do it, I do a lot of it.
Yes. Party hard. Work hard, play
Work
hard.
hard, party harder. Cool. We already have a question which I was gonna ask later, but might as well talk about it
Well,
now.
I
It's
gotta
like
find the I gotta find the damn
breaking news.
I gotta find the
The
damn
threadcast.
threadcast. I went to latest hoping
I'm
it would
gonna
be
drop the
there,
link in
but I found it. Yeah, you posted it 30 minutes ago. I'm there. Yeah, we already got 26
yeah.
comments. I love it. I love it.
Um
Oh yeah, you should dump it in
yeah,
announcements anyway.
the threadcast calendar, I guess that's an announcement we can make, is coming soon. Before the end of the month, we should have that live. So then we'll be able to users will be able to schedule threadcasts, and then they'll go into the scheduler on the homepage. So like underneath where it says trending tags, you'll see like upcoming threadcasts, and you'll be able to click directly into them when they're live. And then we're also adding something where when someone you follow is in a threadcast and you see their like username bubble on the anywhere on the UI, like if you're looking at a thread or a post or whatever, You'll be able to click on there. It'll be like lit up, so it'll have like a ring around their profile. And if you click on it, it will actually take you to the threadcast that they're currently in, like commenting in. So like let's say that like Breads is doing a threadcast and Taskmaster is actively commenting in the threadcast for Breads. And then you see a thread from Taskmaster somewhere else on the UI. His username will be like lit up an hour or two, during the threadcast. And then if you click that bubble, it'll take you directly into the threadcast where Taskmaster is actively commenting. So the thing I'm excited about for that is I think it'll increase threadcast engagement, both the scheduler and this bubble. Because you'll be able to see it's kind of like you'll be able to see when there's a live conversation happening and you can just jump right into it with a click.
That's
So
huge. That's super useful because, like,
yeah.
honestly, I know, like, for instance, Task, does threadcasts and I always miss them. And yeah, I see posts about like when they're going to be, but I never effing remember. And it's just like, it's just not something I'm going to like plow into my schedule. But if I happen to be around and free when he is doing a threadcast, I'd love to, join it. So those notifications are going to be awesome. Tokenized Society asks, cool, is there going to be a fee for scheduling threadcasts?
Yeah. I've been trying to think of how we want to do this because
What about making it part of just like it's a service for premium users or something? And then
yeah, I have a few different ideas. One is that to make it a service for premium users only. So basically, the issue we're trying to solve for is that we don't want people just scheduling random threadcasts. We want to have some ability to filter. For we don't just want to see a bunch of shit threads. Like you can imagine that, for example, someone could launch a threadcast and say that they have like an upcoming threadcast, and then it's not actually a threadcast. They're just trying to promote their thread onto that threadcast scheduler. So we basically need to solve for that. And I'm not sure yet how we're going to do it because, we don't want to make something manual where we have to like manually approve or disapprove threadcasts. So yeah, I don't think we need to. Taskmaster is saying I would disagree with premium users. It is an idea, but yeah, I think it's probably one of the lower ideas in terms we would do. So a couple different ones. Maybe you guys have some ways to improve what I'm thinking. So leave a thread comment if you think of something. How do we filter out bad threadcasts? Essentially, like threadcasts that aren't actually threadcasts, because the scheduler will essentially allow anyone to schedule a threadcast into the calendar. So we could make it so that you have to burn some amount of Leo. We could make it based on Leo power. We could make it so that you have to be premium. And then the other option I was thinking of is allowing some kind of poll where users can vote, like, is this actually a threadcast or is it not? And then they can like basically remove it from the calendar. But that kind of adds a whole layer. Yeah, shaking your head. I mean, it adds a whole layer of
because
like
I'm with you on
complexity
that
to it.
idea, but unfortunately, it's going to need to be more centralized in that I think it's just a combination of it's like a two-prong thing where I think there should be, we'll call it paywall for lack of a better term, whether it's, burning some Leo, whether it's just paying a fee, whether it's even just based on the amount of Leo power, like Task is even saying, like, so you have to be, somewhat vested in the community in order to do threadcasts, let's just say, which has its pros and cons because there could be legit new people trying to come in that like, that's a barrier that turns them off.
Right.
But
Like
at the end of the day,
you want Breads to be able to launch a threadcast, people like him who are
exactly.
brand new.
So yeah, there should be some facet of that. And obviously, there's all those different options. You can figure out which one, but it's still not going to solve the problem of just spam, so to speak, at least even on one-offs, because there's people that are willing to spend money to spam, right? So it's like, oh, if there's a paywall, oh, I'll pay that $10 in Leo and whatever it is. So the reality is, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's someone that would love to fill the role, but I feel like you're going to also need to have like a thread czar, so to speak, that is just every day, just glancing at the threadcast listed and just seeing if they're spam, if they're obvious spam or not. And then, having that ban hammer power or whatever it is. This is my opinion, because as much as it feels like old school and archaic, at the end of the day, humans are going to human. So unless we can figure out a way
Yeah.
to automate that, which, maybe that's obviously what, AI is essentially all about, but I don't know that we have an AI bot that's doing that for Leo. So I still feel like there needs to be like a threadcast czar, so to speak, to at least keep eyeballs on it. And yeah, it's not going to be perfect, but they can still keep it cleaned up a little bit. Because otherwise, quote unquote, no one's really watching it. And like the poll thing is a way to do that, but I think that gets messy too. Um, and can be influenced and biased and all that stuff. Not that a single person can't, but um, it's cleaner. And as long as it's a,
Yeah.
level-headed person. So
Yeah. Um,
who can I nominate?
I have another idea. We could have a whitelist of users, let's say like 10. Um, I'm kind of combining multiple people's
Yeah,
ideas
self-help
here.
for
I'm
trolls just
combining your
said that.
idea.
You could let people apply
Yeah,
for
I'm
whitelist.
combining your idea with self-help for trolls, which is to have a whitelist not for people to create the threadcasts on the calendar, but for people to actually moderate it. So we could have moderators for that calendar that are on a whitelist. So then we can have maybe like 10 different people in the community. Like you could be a moderator, Task could be a moderator, I could be a moderator,
What
Nomad
about
Soul could be a moderator. So then you've got like a bunch of different ones so that, at any given time of the day, if someone schedules one, we can remove it. Um,
okay? What about taking it the other
so that's
direction
an
and
idea
just
too.
doing an actual whitelist where it's like if you want to do threadcast, you have to get on the whitelist, so it's almost like an application.
Yeah.
But
Um,
at the same time, that still doesn't solve the problem of somewhat having monitoring, because someone could get whitelisted, they can look the part, and then they could essentially just be putting up a bunch of shit. And if no one's paying attention to that, then they're going to continue to do that. Someone still has to see, all right, you got
right.
whitelisted, but clearly you shouldn't be because you're just putting up garbage. And then, so yeah, I guess it goes back to the fundamental statement of humans are going to human. And at some way, shape, or form, there needs to be a review check, checks and balances. And in order to have that, you need an actual human or an AI
Right.
bot that can act like a human.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tough problem. It's a tough problem. But now you guys see why we don't have the scheduler yet. Um, but
Yeah.
we are building it, and now we just got to figure out how to moderate it. Um, and I'm trying to do it in a way that's not too complicated. Like Task is saying, have a certain amount of Leo power, and if you don't have that, you can pay a certain amount of Leo, which is an idea. But then we're kind of making it super complicated in terms of development and explaining it to people and stuff like that. So
You got to find that
I'm trying
balance.
to think of something that's really simple.
Yeah. Simple is key. Cause like, as, basically the smartest person I know in regards to like human behavior, he always says a confused mind says no. So it's like, if you don't make it simple, people are just basically going to say no and go elsewhere.
Right.
And that's like the ultimate line when it comes to even like conversions on anything and selling. Like a confused mind says no. More options, and every study shows that like giving more options actually is worse. Like you get less conversion than when you have just a handful of options.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to think about it a little bit more.
I'll tell you what, something you need to think
Figure it
about
out
because it
though.
comes up every single week is people saying, and Cool Guy 222 said at this time, a lot of users want options for 6 months and 1 year premium subscriptions. Any plans to include that? This question gets asked from someone different every single week. So clearly there's a demand.
Right. Yeah, we do have a plan to add that. I don't think it's going to get added this month, but maybe in before the end of the year, we'll add that.
Makes
Which,
sense. I
by the way, I
mean,
just realized we only have 5 weeks left till the end of the
yeah,
year,
this
which
year
is
is pretty
crazy.
much over. It's bananas.
Yeah.
Especially with this being Thanksgiving
So,
week. But yeah, if you think
yeah.
about it, like, for instance, like, I'm getting the Black Friday sale stuff. So like Trading View, I'm sure you got it too, like the Black Friday special, blah, blah, blah. It's like, and you can buy at a discount and pay for, a year. And same thing, like, offer an annual. I think you can do monthly and annual. And then if you pay annual, you get a slight discount,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, so,
Yeah. I
and
only want to do like 10% off or something if you
yeah,
do
so it's
or
like,
you get like a
instead of,
free month if you do it for a
yeah,
year.
so instead of like $10 a month, then if you pay for a year, it's 100 or 110, whatever, something like that. I mean, if people, got to give the people what they want.
Yep.
Nobody knows
Yeah.
what it
That's
means.
a good idea, the Black Friday idea. I just made a note of that because maybe we can do
Well,
something for Black Friday
obviously, it doesn't have to be a Black Friday thing. I'm just talking about like that model in terms of,
in
paying
general. Yeah. Yeah.
for
Yeah.
1 year and getting
But
a
it is a good
discount. I mean, that's
idea.
just,
It, yeah, both of those are good ideas because a Black Friday sale would potentially get people who aren't premium right now. Maybe we can get like Hive people who would consider premium, but you know what I mean? Um, are looking for a little bit of a discount. So maybe we can do something for a Black Friday deal. We don't want to make it too cheap though, because one thing about Black Friday is like if you
I
make
don't
things
think,
like too cheap, then people just don't buy things knowing that there's going to be a sale. So
well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
we should make a deal, but not too big of a deal.
I don't think you should do any Black Friday thing. I think you just need to have the option going forward of, monthly, or you can buy an annual at X amount discount, and that's it. It has nothing to do with Black Friday. I
Yeah.
mean, you should have that next month, the month after, every month. Like, it's just a thing where it's like pay $10 a month or pay annually for X lump sum, whatever it is, 10% discount or whatever you want to do. I don't think you need to get involved in the
Yep.
sales shit and all that, because at the end of the day, it's like, this isn't, you don't want to turn into like, yeah, you don't need to be doing a whole sales cycle and all that nonsense. It's just more shit to add on.
That's true. Yeah. Like you said, we just want to keep things kind of simple. Don't want to complicate them too much.
Again, this is all my opinion. What do we got to do? Yeah, so Mr. Hive said, I think using varying levels of Leo power as a determination factor for who can create a threadcast would be cool, but there will still need to be moderators. Yeah, exactly. It's just you can't fix the review. Like, you have to have some kind of review part, because people always figure out how to enter through the gate, um, and then do their worst if that's their intention.
Yeah.
Hopefully, no one else is getting an echo but me.
Are you getting an echo?
I think it went away. It did. I was briefly getting one when I
Oh,
spoke.
okay.
So, but it sounds like we are good. All right. So what else? Task asked, why are there no Leo ads on long form content? Is it going to be added? I'm pretty sure that's on the list, right? I think you mentioned
There
that a
are
few weeks
ads.
ago.
Yeah, so I guess this is a good time for an ad update. So we had an issue with Coinzilla. We've been having an issue with Coinzilla for a pretty long time. They just, we were a partner with Coinzilla for pretty much the last years, and we kept growing over time, right? Like we at one point we were earning like literally cents per day, and then we started earning more and more. We eventually got to the point where we're earning like four, five, six, $10 a day in ad revenue. And then one day and this was kind of after Threads. It wasn't right when Threads launched, but it was shortly after, when we started to see a lot of traction for Threads. We saw for the first time, we crossed $100 a day in ad revenue. Then we went all the way up to for one day, we made over $300 in ad revenue. So we were on pace to make like over 10K a month in ad revenue. And literally the next day after that, I got a ping from Coinzilla, and I hadn't heard from them in like, at that point, I hadn't heard from them in probably close to 2 years. And they were basically like asking about our traffic, asking like all these detailed questions about why our ad revenue suddenly spiked. And they were like basically concerned, like wondering if we were doing something like like a scam of some kind, because for 2 years we were making under $10 a day, and then suddenly we went from $10 to $50, and then the next day we made 80, and the next day we made 100, and then the next day we made 300. And so it was just like this huge exponential jump very suddenly, and it was because of threads and because of the adoption that the new UI has gotten. So I showed them all the user data in terms of monthly active users. I showed them all the traffic data on Simple Analytics, and just showed them that our traffic and users were up basically 4x. And then also that we released this new feature called Threads, where you have a lot more clicks. Like on long form, you don't get that much ad revenue. It's very small, because someone hits the page, they read the article, they might see 1 or 2 ads, and that's it. Versus a thread where, if Taskmaster and Self-Help for Trolls are threading back and forth with each other, and they do like 10 replies each back and forth, that could be 30, 40 ad views just in that one conversation. And then obviously you got Threadcast and other things that create a lot of ad views as well. So essentially they were just really curious why that happened. And then they let it go for a few days, and then they kept coming back and asking more questions. And then they ended up throttling us. So they started throttling the ads. And you guys have noticed this, where most of you guys were seeing just Coinzilla blank ad banners. So what they were doing is throttling the ads that they're saying that. Can you guys not hear me? Self-Help for Trolls said, did we lose Cal?
Oh, I don't know. I can hear you obviously because I'm on Zoom. I mean, your speaker thing is moving on threads. I was responding to a thread.
You guys hear me now? I think it's on maybe.
Let me unmute my spaces to see if I hear you.
Oh, he said Self-Help for Trolls said I'm back now.
Okay.
Okay, that's interesting. Well, anyways, so you guys saw that they were throttling our ads, and instead of showing us real ads, they were showing us banner placements. So after we had that huge ad day, they started slowly throttling us down and back. So then we kind of reached this equilibrium of like $50 a day in ad revenue after all the throttling. And I obviously was pinging them back and forth, telling them that I was sharing, and a Nomad Soul put out a Zeely quest so that you guys could share if you were actually seeing ads or not, because it's hard for me to tell, because I was always seeing ads. But what we figured out is that they were doing a lot of geofencing, and essentially blocking a lot of the ads that were getting shown across the UI. So that's when I started kind of evaluate where we were going to head long term for ads. My plan was always to phase out Coinzilla, because I knew that we were kind of outgrowing them. Coinzilla is a relatively small company, and for us to be earning 10K a month in ad revenue, they just didn't like that, and they didn't want us. They essentially didn't want all the revenue to flow to one place, or to have this huge piece of their business in one place. So they throttled us back, and that's when I started designing the direct ad platform. And then you guys have kind of seen that more and more lately. And then recently, about a week ago, Zilla just messaged me out of the blue and said, we're gonna throttle you back even more. And we don't, essentially they said everything, but basically, we don't want to work with you anymore. And obviously that's pretty stupid. So I just said, screw Zilla, we're done with Zilla. So we removed all the Coinzilla banners from the UI. So you guys have probably noticed that in the last week, that there's no Zilla ads anymore. And then yesterday we finally got the approval for Google AdSense. So now we've got Google Ads on the UI, and Google Ads are a lot more relevant. But the one thing about them is they don't pay as well. So they pay you a pretty small amount of money per impression and per click, relative to Coinzilla, which have very high payments per click, payments per impression.
But way better ads.
Way better ads, way more relevant to they look at your geography, they look at things based on your Google search, and then they serve you more relevant ads to you, which ultimately gets more clicks and ultimately will lead to more ad revenue for Leo. So long term, I kind of always had this plan to switch over to Google AdSense as like the backup, ad server, and then have the direct ad sales be like the primary source of ad revenue for Leo, because selling ads direct is always superior to like ad networks like Zillow or Google Ads or anything else. If you can direct sale ads, you will make 10 times more money. And that's because you don't have a middleman. You can charge a lot more per banner. You can create your own relationships with clients. So, if a client comes in and they want like a banner tweaked, we can tweak the banner for them. It's a lot more efficient. We can kind of sort through people and pick out ads that will serve you guys better and ultimately convert better for the clients. So this is what Twitter does. This is what Facebook does. When you get to a certain size in terms of platform, it always it is better to do direct sales. So direct sales is where we're headed, but up is the Google AdSense. So let's say, for example, we get 3 different clients for the month of December to do direct ads. So those 3 clients will upload their banner. They'll upload a budget, like a daily budget. It looks a lot like Facebook ads if you've ever used the Facebook ad platform. So for them, they'll have a dashboard. They'll set their ads, and then we'll rotate in their banners based on their daily budget. But when there's like, let's say that creates like 90% fill space for the ads, that 10% remaining will basically default back to Google AdSense, so that there's always ads on the site and we don't have any lag in between ads. But then if we get, let's say like a 4th client comes in and they buy up that 10% ad space, now you won't see any Google ads until maybe one of the clients drops back or reduces their budget. So you start to see Google ads mixed in a little bit again. So that has always been the long-term plan, but Coinzilla kind of forced us to do it faster than I wanted to. So I think in the long run, this was always going to happen. And as the UI grew and the monthly active users grew and the impressions grew, I knew we were outgrowing Coinzilla. So it was just kind of a matter of time, but it would have been nicer to obviously have more time to build up our monthly active users. My goal was to get us to like 10,000 monthly active users, and something on the order of like 5 million page views a month, before we were to go to our own direct ad network, just because it would be easier to sell people on ads saying we have 10,000 users, we have, millions of impressions every week. But obviously, we got to do with what we got now. But we're still, that being said, we still do over 500,000 page views a month. We've got 1,600 monthly active users. So, and that's been growing pretty steadily and quickly throughout this year. So, the goal is obviously hit 10,000 next year. And, on the way there, we're just going to have to keep working hard to create some ad partnerships.
Cool. I mean, I'm already, seeing those ads, and I guess it's funny too, because with Coinzilla, I would see, ads that were not any ads I'd see anywhere else. And now, like just now, like I went to a new page on INLEO and I saw an ad for sneakers that I literally saw last night on like a regular web page for like city data when I was doing some like real estate research. So it was cool that I actually saw the same ad on INLEO as I saw on another website. Because to me, that just makes it feel like it's like a normal website, so to speak. It gives it that familiarity. I don't know if you saw some of these other questions. There's 2 themes going on in here. I will touch on the shorter one, which is someone was asking about Zealy, and was it Bitcoin Man asked about what's up with Zealy? We need it back. And then after that, we can get into a different question that's more technical. So yeah, is there any update in regards to Zealy?
Eric would have the official dates, but I do know that the next Zealy campaign is starting very soon. We were just talking about it the other day. Some of the quests that are coming up, it'll be a little bit different and a little bit more tailored towards long form, from what I understand. So, Eric was just sending me the data the other day that there's like under 300 people, I think, that post long form through INLEO. And then you've obviously got about, I think, 7,000 through Hive, other Hive UIs like Peak D, ECC. Hive.blog, all those. So,
Nice.
one small focus will be getting people to try the INLEO long form publisher. It's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. So I would
It
assume
has.
many of the people, and he's running the data on the last post that they ever made, all these different 7,000 active creators on Hive. And, most of them haven't even done it since the INLEO rebrand, let alone, some of them haven't even done it since the new UI came out in May of this year. Some of them have never even posted ever from Leo Finance, from Steam Leo Finance, or INLEO. So, we've got all that data, and we're looking into ways that we can increase the number of people posting from INLEO's UI, because that ultimately builds that evergreen pool, which is now live because of LeoAds going live on November 1st. And Taskmaster asked, what about fixing the counter on long form content? So he pointed out that it seems like the views are like dropping on long form content over time. So it looks like basically the Simple Analytics API is only reading 1 month of data, and then every single day it kind of obviously it resets, right? So we're looking into that issue. But that being said, on the back end, the views work fine. So it's just a front end thing. Bitcoin Man said INLEO long form is broken, can't open any blog posts. If you can take some screenshots and steps to reproduce it and then post a thread with hashtag feedback, I can take a look later.
Yeah, it's super interesting when, one or two people have problems and not everyone else is having the same problem. And I've been on both sides of it. And, long form's working fine for me right now. And I know Mr. Hive was actually talking about he's having issues with threads and he keeps having to log back in. And so, yeah, it's always a lot of one-offs. There was a lot of questions in regards to Tokenized Society, and I forget who was the other person that asked. They talked about, so now, which is awesome, it's finally there. We have on the UI for Hive, Leo, and even RC credits, basically, gauges, power gauges, so you know where you're at. And I think since those numbers are generally different, one person was asking that, they don't have anything set in terms of different weightings for their votes between Hive and Leo. So they're curious, like, why their Hive and their Leo VP doesn't line up. And then Tokenized Society was basically asking about just if there's a lag. He's talking about, I don't know if you saw it. It says update to my question 6 minutes ago in bold. And then he says, it looks like Leo power on the display is slowly catching up to the Hive power each time I refresh the page. I was getting 88 Hive power, 97 for Leo power. Refreshing it got it to 88 and 91. Refreshing it again brought the 2 meters to 88, which was what I was expecting. Maybe the LP meter has a lag on it.
Yeah, so two things here. So the first part, asking about why it wouldn't line up sometimes. When you vote on something, it uses your Hive power and your Leo power, but only if that thing that you're voting on is eligible to earn Leo. So some posts, some threads, actually, I don't think any threads, but some posts aren't eligible to earn Leo. So if you upvote that, let's say with 100% of your upvote, it'll use your 2% Hive voting power, but it won't use your 2% Leo power. So that's why you'll see a discrepancy there. You'll pretty much almost always your Leo power is higher than your Hive power in that situation. We do have a feature on the roadmap though, where you'll be able to set a weight. So you could do like every time you vote 1%, or every time you vote with 10% Hive power, you could set it so that 1/10 of your vote is Leo power. So it's like 10% Hive power, 1% Leo power, or vice versa. You could make it like 100% Leo power, but only 10% of your Hive power. That feature is live actually on Leo Dex, but we're looking into some better ways we can implement it on INLEO. And then the second part of that, so your Hive power voting percentage comes from the Hive blockchain. It's think of it like it comes from the layer 1 APIs because it's your Hive power. It's obviously Leo power voting percentage comes from layer 2. It comes from Hive Engine, and Hive Engine's APIs are slower than Hive's. So Hive has a 3-second block time, and Hive Engine that because it reads from the Hive blocks and then reads back to the APIs, and then we have to read the APIs. So there is a little bit of a lag. in terms of the Leo power catching up to the Hive power on that display because of the Hive Engine APIs. So there's no way to speed that up. It's just that's how fast it gets read from the L2 API. I am really happy with how that feature turned out, though. So we just launched that a few days ago, and you guys already seem to like it. In labs, this isn't on production yet, but in labs, we pushed another update where some of the text was overlapping. So if you're on production right now, you probably noticed there might be some text overlapping. And then also, it's kind of hard to read. So I asked the devs to make it so that if you hover over it, it zooms in a little bit. So it shows the percentage a little bit bigger. So that's all on labs. It's not on production yet, but it will be by Friday. Yeah, no problem. Tokenized society. Most issues, Sunseeker said, most issues with bugs have to do with cache. Something weird happens where it looks like we're not logged in, but then when we're going to do a transaction, it shows we're not. Yeah, there's an issue with, and most of the bugs you guys are seeing right now, if you guys are getting like application errors too, it's actually related to the ads. So for some reason, Google's ad code is throwing an error occasionally when you hit certain pages. It's not a constant thing. It happens very randomly and not to every user. So I've been reproducing that all morning for the devs, and they're working on it right now. So if you see any like application errors on random pages, or you see like sometimes you'll even go to the home page and it'll show a blank screen, or somehow my Zoom just did balloons. Or if you go to if you go to like reply to a thread or something, like it won't let you reply. So there's like these really random bugs, and they're all related to ads. So they've only come up since we released the new ads. But we'll fix that hopefully by the end of today. We'll fix most or all of them, because they're all, like I said, they're all kind of related to the same issues. Mr. Hive wants to know extension of payments of rewards, which is presumed to be more than 7 days. So Evergreen rewards went live on November 1st with the new LeoAds contract. And what that essentially allows you to do is if you post, it only applies to content posted directly from INLEO.io. So you have to post directly from the UI. And the reason for that is you need canonical URL to this UI. So you have to post from INLEO, and if you do, your post is eligible for Evergreen rewards, which means that you'll get a share of ad revenue that your post generates for the life of the post. So that's forever, obviously. Like for the net, if you post something and it gets like 1,000 views a month every month for the next 10 years, you'll get a percentage of ad revenue based on those 1,000 views. And basically gets pooled up for every single account. So like if you were like Taskmaster and you've got 1,000 blog posts, and every month basically the Evergreen contract reads how many views your 1,000 blog posts get in that month, and then it calculates how much ad revenue was generated from those views, and then you get a percentage of that, and then obviously the remainder goes to the Leo Power Pool. So yeah, that is already live, and there is a threshold for it. So I haven't really talked much yet about the threshold and about kind of how the percentages work out. But we'll talk about that when the first payments go out. There's still some things that I still need to see kind of data wise until all of that can get fully hammered out. Taskmaster saying get the counter fix and you'll see some on Leo Glossary. Yeah, we've already pinged simple analytics, so it's not really in our balls. The ball is not in our court right now, so we're waiting for them to see if they can, because basically they have to create a new API for us to show lifetime views, because right now they only show monthly. So try to catch up to Leo Glossary, over 4,000 pages and counting. Yeah, I mean, you could see something like a Leo Glossary if it starts getting 4,000, if it has 4,000 pages, starts getting like, just say it gets 10,000 views a month, 100,000 views a month. Like those checks can get really big in terms of ad revenue share. So what a big metric I'm looking for is I want to see what percentage of rewards, like let's say an author like Taskmaster makes 1,000 from the Hive rewards pool and the Leo rewards pool in terms of token rewards. I want to see him earning, $100 a month from the ad revenue evergreen pool, and then, 200 a month, 300 a month, 500 a month, 1,000 a month. And then I want to see it flip his normal rewards pool rewards. I think when we get the first user that flips those rewards, that'll be like a huge moment for the entire Hive blockchain, because up until this point, the only way to monetize your content was through the rewards pool. And now we're looking at something where the monetization comes from something completely external to, token rewards. And ultimately actually supports the price of Leo, because all that, when you get paid from the evergreen contract, Leo is getting paid in crypto. So it's getting paid in USDT or Bitcoin. And then it's taking that USDT or Bitcoin and it's buying Leo, and then it's paying you. So it's constant buy pressure on Leo. We've already seen the Leo price kind of stabilize from all this buy pressure. It's only been, I think, the third week. Yeah, this is the third week of LeoAds revenue. So I know that it just bought from the P Leo pool because it was the cheapest. I think I saw Trumpman ask somewhere why there was no Hive deposit in the LeoAds account. And the reason for that is because Leo was cheaper on Polygon than it was on Hive. So I know that it bought on Polygon first. So yeah, we should see some interesting effects from that. And then obviously we've switched over from Coinzilla, so we'll see.
You know what I noticed that's pretty cool? I'm still scrolling to see if like the theme changes, but it looks like it is pretty much the same. So everyone that's involved in Threadcast, which is good because obviously, people that are engaged truly are really engaged, and we want that number to grow. But as I scroll through the Threadcast and like look at all the people posting, I see orange check marks, and then like maybe I won't, and then a bunch more, and then I won't. I would say easily 80% of people on the Threadcast are premium subscribers, and that's pretty freaking cool to see. It's probably more than 80%. I'm probably being conservative here. But yeah, as I scroll through the comments and the questions, I barely ever not see an orange check mark. It's like one every like 10 or 12 people. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the, speaking of the ad revenue buying Leo and stabilizing the price, you got premium. That's the Leo premium pool that's buying Leo as well now. So we've got, I think we're at like 130 recurring subs. And my goal is still to get to 200 by November 27th, which will be the 30-day mark. We got some work to do, but yeah, that's the goal. Me and Eric are working out some contests to get more people involved in premium, because half that. So most of you already know this, but 10 HBD comes in each month from each premium user, and when it's 500 HBD, it buys $250 worth of Hive and $250 worth of Leo. Then it wraps it to Beehive-B Leo and pools it permanently, so that liquidity stays there forever. And so it's creating permanent liquidity while also creating buy pressure for Leo and for Hive. So I really want to see us get to like 200 premium subscribers this month, and then hit 1,000 sometime in Q1 of next year, or Q2 maybe, would be really amazing. You'd be looking at, with 1,000 subscribers, you'd be looking at $2,500 worth of Leo getting bought and $2,500 worth of Hive getting bought every single month, and then pooled for permanent liquidity. And I know a lot of people ask about Cub all the time. That is, the long-term plan for Cub too, is we just need to build up more liquidity. And this premium thing, it benefits Leo, it benefits Hive with the buybacks, it benefits Leo and Hive again by adding permanent liquidity. And then it also benefits Cub because that liquidity builds up in the oracles. And ultimately, that creates a lot of value for that pool and the bridge wraps. Yeah, the key is to build more value for the Leo premium membership. Yeah, I mean, we've already added new features since it went live, and we'll keep adding them. Like, you premium, everyone in premium has seen that you can now add lists to your main feed, which, by the way, there's a bug where lists aren't showing up right now, and we are working on that. But yeah, there's going to be constantly new features for premium. Some of the AI features have been having issues. Obviously, I think OpenAI is having more issues than we are, but we're using the OpenAI APIs, and those AI features will be live in the near term sooniverse.
Cool. That's interesting. Aloha had said basically, I don't know if there are any actual posts from the LeoAds account, but obviously if we curate those, that creates additional buying power, so to speak. And then he said, would it make sense to have LeoAds post the threadcasts?
Yeah, I don't think we want to do something where there's like those automated, burn posts like what other protocols do, but I do foresee that we do like maybe a weekly or a monthly post, probably a weekly from LeoAds, where we just talk about the recent buy. I just don't want to make it like an automated, burn post type of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, premium's really designed in this way, and Taskmaster kind of hit on it, is that we got to keep adding more features. But even with the current feature set, I think premium is super worth it. And if any of you guys are premium and you're premium and you don't renew next month, I'm kind of curious to see like if you miss certain things, like you miss having the ability to do custom themes, you miss being able to edit threads, you miss the check mark, you miss being able to write I think the biggest feature for me that has really changed threads since premium went live is the longer threads. So for me, being able to write longer threads and not really, basically I don't have to worry about word count anymore. I can just write it. I can write whatever I want, and I don't have to worry about it being too long. If I go over to like 270 characters, it's fine. But before, when I was writing threads, I would have to, I'd have to watch my word count. I'd have to like cut certain words out after I was done typing. I would have to make a reply thread to reply to the original one with more information. So it really has enhanced the experience for me to have longer threads. One of the next updates that we're doing, probably in the next week, is going to be the longer threads is actually not working as intended right now. So when you write a long thread, it shows the entire thread. And Taskmaster will like this too. The intended way that it works is more like X, where when it's a longer thread, it shows the normal 240 characters, and then it says show more, and you have to click show more in order to see the full thread. So if it's like 1,000 characters and you'll only see the first 240, and then you'll have to click show more to see the rest of the 1,000. And what that does is a lot of different things. For one, improves the experience because we don't want certain threads to look too long in the feed. But the second part of that is revenue, because when you click show more, it opens the full thread into a full page view, which obviously creates a new ad view because you're loading a new page. So it's good for ad revenue. It's good for the user experience. It looks pretty cool to have the show more thing. So I've been testing that a little bit. I think it'll go live by next Friday, if I had to guess. So yeah, should improve the user experience a lot. And then, like I said, more ad revenue.
Cool.
I guess I answered Lisa's question about longer threads for premium. Yeah, it's not working perfectly as intended right now. But we at least wanted to get it live. There's certain features where we just want to get them live, get some testing done, and then we can tweak and fix things later. Have you considered, Alex asks, have you considered offering deeper Hive stats style analytics for premium subscribers? Yeah. So there is an analytics update coming to the UI. I have it designed and planned. I don't know when we're going to do it exactly, but it will gamify the experience a lot more. You'll have basically an earnings dashboard. You'll see your earnings. It'll give you, so this is another AI feature. So essentially there's going to be a dashboard. It'll give you Hive stat style analytics. We're going to add a lot more analytics to it. And then we're also going to add like deep analytics that integrates AI. So it will look at your account and it will say, hey, I analyzed your account, and there's this other user named Taskmaster, and he's earning 3 times as much rewards as you are. here's the difference between the way you count is creating or interacting on the site versus Taskmaster. And here's a point list, 3 suggestions of how you might be able to earn more by changing your activities. And that's just connected to ChatGPT. And that would be one of the AI features that's available to premium subs. So every user, if you're premium or not premium, will get that analytics dashboard. But then if premium, you'll get like the deep analytics, and like you'll be able to run simulations essentially and ask AI to help you improve your account. So you can ask it to, look at my most recent 10 blog posts and tell me what I can do to improve them. And then you can give it a goal. You can say, I want to earn, 2 times more rewards next month, or, I want 2 times more comments on my blog posts. And it will give you suggestions of what it thinks you can do in order to achieve that goal based on other users who are already at that. It'll basically take your goal. It'll say who on the UI right now is already doing what you want, and then it'll tell you how to get from where you are to where they are. So I think that'll be super, super interesting to see. But the analytics in general, I think, will really improve the UI experience. It's kind of like a video game. Like if you have a video game and there's no scoreboard, there's no there's no point system, it's really not that interesting to play that game. So everyone needs some sort of scoreboard or goal to work toward. And the new dashboard will kind of handle that.
I do a lot of chatter about people's, experiences between desktop and and mobile, and obviously people generally struggles with the mobile, whether it's, logging in, or whether it's just, when they go to vote on a thread. I mean, I can tell you from my experience, I use Keychain on desktop, but then on my phone, I don't have Keychain. So when I do want to use my phone, I go old school and I literally just drop my posting key in with my username. And when I do that, I have no problems. So I'm not sure what methods people are using to log in mobile. Obviously, the way I'm doing it, I don't know if it's like the most convenient and most efficient, but generally I do it. And then since I always quote unquote keep the browser open on my phone, because I always have multiple browsers open, you know how that is. I rarely ever have to actually log in because no one really keeps that posting key handy. But just food for thought for those that are struggling.
Yeah, I use mobile probably almost as much, maybe even more than I use desktop for threads. So I personally use the posting key login. That is it just makes it a lot easier, and it's more enjoyable. Because and I think a big reason is we built that solution. So that is a native Leo built solution for logging in. And I think it just works a lot more flawlessly than the other ones like Keychain and Hive Signer. So we will improve that more over time as well. But if you guys, my public service announcement is if you guys have any bugs, mobile or desktop or whatever, really the best thing you can do is make a thread, a top thread, and include screenshots, include any step. Like the best thing, like the best feedback threads that I ever see are the ones where there's a screenshot, at least one screenshot, and there's also steps to reproduce. So it's like, okay, step 1, I went to the homepage. Step 2, I clicked articles. Step 3, I clicked on an article. Step 4, I got this error, and then it shows a screenshot. And if you can do those kinds of feedback threads, I collect all those threads at the end of every single day, and I ping the devs. I say, hey, we've got 3 users having this issue. We've got 2 users having this issue. We got this user having this issue on mobile. And then I create a priority list, and they're off to fixing it. So I really can't stress enough. I know we talk about it pretty much every week, but creating threads with hashtag feedback is super important. And I usually will reply to most of them. If I don't reply though, I at least like upvote it so you know that I've seen it. So it's really important to get that feedback out there, because we're not like a normal platform where we're not adding a lot of new features. We're not like breaking things because new things are getting introduced. We are constantly adding new features, which means that things are constantly going down, things are constantly having issues, but then we improve them. And I think you guys have seen the result of that. If you look at the UI back in May of this year and compare it to today, it's like not even recognizable. It looks completely like a different UI. So that's kind of the way we operate: is release things, break things, fix things, but then everything ends up better in the long term. So
Yeah. So, and at the end of the day, make sure you put the feedback tag in that post so it gets seen. Like I'm looking at trending tags right now, and feedback's, in the top 10 with 25 threads, but you got to share it. It doesn't get fixed if you don't
yeah,
share the
we just
problem.
exactly. Yeah, you guys have gotten a lot better at sharing feedback. Also, like there's definitely a lot more people involved in sharing feedback. So just keep that up because,
What is this?
unless, and like Mitch actually said kind of at the beginning of this, a lot of these issues are isolated to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. So
Yeah.
I won't see them unless you guys share them. And if you don't share like screenshots and stuff like that or steps to reproduce, I can't reproduce them. And if we can't reproduce them, we can't fix them. So, that's really how all the bugs get fixed is from feedback.
And
And
everyone's,
take a step back, INLEO runs feedback.
yeah. So, and people, obviously in the threadcast are sharing their experiences. And, cool guy said he's using Keychain on mobile. He's having no problem. Like I said, I use my posting key. I have no problem. One of the people that said they were having problems, they're using Hive Signer. And I gotta be honest with you, like my experience with Hive Signer over the years has not been great. I rarely use it. I think I use it for one thing. I think I use it for the Hive.vote resource. Outside of that, I generally haven't used Hive Signer because I feel like I'm battling it. So, you know, that could be a piece of it. It's just a matter of what someone's using. But cool. Well, it is half past. That's a lot of past the hour. And we've been going for about an hour and I need to wrap it up. So I
Cool.
think I'm glad we ended with the push for everyone providing their feedback. So it's to quote Jerry Maguire, help me to help you, help me to help you. So that's what essentially Cal is saying. I'm not saying it because I can't do shit. Tag feedback and Cal and the team will look at it. I'm just a cat
Yep.
walking along the top of a fence, poking around, seeing how he can make some crypto.
Yep.
So
That's what
come
we're
on,
all
bull
doing at the end of
market.
the day, right?
Yeah. I'm just sitting here waiting for the next bull market.
Me too. Me too.
So,
Sweet.
oh,
Yeah, that's I think it's a good place to wrap too. Um, yeah, we got a lot of new features coming. So keep your eyes peeled. The voting power update obviously just went live. Few other backend updates. I mentioned in a thread that we released a completely new version of Leo Cache, along with a literally 10x bigger server to handle it. So the ironically though, we then release LeoAds, which kind of destabilizes things a little bit. But the once things restabilize, you'll see the speed is just so much better on threads. So a lot of cool stuff coming. Like I said, we're working on the AI integrations. Stuff will be live soon. You guys will be able to start playing with it. Premium is coming to an end for a lot of different people. So Tasha was saying he's got like 2 days left. So will be cool to see a lot of you guys renew for premium. And if you don't renew, you also can use that hashtag feedback tag to let us know why you didn't renew and what might make you renew if it was added to the UI. So
which is
feedback
also good.
doesn't just have to be limited to
Yeah,
bug feedback.
that's
Any
also good
feedback is
feedback.
welcome.
Yeah, that's good
Yeah,
feedback as well. And same thing. Thread that with the feedback hashtag. And
100%.
well, I'm going to post my last thread in the
Sweet.
threadcast, which is a GIF of the theme, and it's literally "Help me to help you" GIF from the movie.
Let's do it.
Help me to
Um,
help you.
as always, vote the cat, be active on
Everybody.
threads.
Yes, be active on threads and be active on long form. It's like, hey, listen, I'm just happy that apparently I'm going to end up with like awesome abs because I'm part of the 300. So if I'm in 300, then apparently I'm going to have sick abs and I'm going to get a cool sword. Um, that should be part of, the perks to being one of the 300 people that long form from INLEO.
Yep.
But
We'll
cool.
figure that
All
out.
right.
We'll develop it.
Well, until next time, thread often, feedback when you need to, and wait for your crypto to go up.
Sounds good. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Peace.